We've had a very busy year since my last update talk, and while I recognize that with limited time I can't mention everything, I now want to tell you about some of the highlights. In July, the Division of Neurology moved out of medicine and was elevated to department status. Nearly all medical schools and all of our peer institutions have departments of neurology, and this change will create an even stronger presence for Duke Neurology. The new department has 54 faculty members, and it's led by Joel Morgenlander, formerly division chief and now interim chair. I want to give special thanks to Joel for his hard work and leadership during this exciting time of transition. The School of Medicine now comprises 7 basic science departments and 14 clinical departments. Last summer, we were also very fortunate to bring Eric Paulson back to Duke as chair of the Department of Radiology. It's great to have Eric with us again. I'm particularly grateful to Don Frush for stepping in as interim chair last spring. He did an outstanding job, and it was a real pleasure to work with him. Last summer was very busy for the Duke University Health System. On June 22nd, Maestro Care, our new Epic electronic health record, was fully implemented at Duke University Hospital, more than 140 ambulatory clinics, and the PRMO. Duke's Maestro Care Go Live was among the top 3 largest enterprise-wide implementations in Epic's history. It was a massive undertaking, and its success must be attributed to tremendous planning and preparation, as well as the teamwork of our faculty and staff. While implementation and short-term consequences have created new challenges, this transformation of multiple clinical information systems to a single state-of-the-art electronic health record will position Duke well for the future. We also reached another milestone on June 22nd, the launch of Maestro Care for clinical research. We knew from colleagues around the country that Epic implementation had adversely impacted clinical research, and that meant a lot was at stake for us. Under the leadership of Ian Sanderson, in close collaboration with Mark Stacey, we created and implemented a new vision for clinical research informatics, creatively building on functionalities that came with Epic. This is something that no other institution has accomplished, and probably no other institution has even attempted yet. Like the clinical implementation of Maestro Care, the implementation of the clinical research component was an enormous undertaking and an extraordinary accomplishment for the School of Medicine and Duke. It required an intense investment of time and energy and involved redesigning workflows and training thousands of additional users. I'm very grateful for the magnificent collaboration between the Duke Office of Clinical Research with Denise Snyder and Terry Ainsworth, the Office of Research Informatics, represented by Corey Ennis, and the PRMO, represented by Julie McCauley. While still evolving and definitely not yet perfect, their work has begun to transform the management of clinical research at Duke by providing more efficient, streamlined processes that also indirectly improve care for our patients. This has not been without cost, however. The School of Medicine made a major investment to get it done, and Ian might be a bit worse for the wear. Over the past 2 years, we have witnessed the transformation of our campus as we prepare for a future that will require state-of-the-art facilities and additional space for patient care, education, and research. Last July, the new Duke Medicine Pavilion opened, expanding the health system's clinical footprint and providing space needed to accommodate more surgical and ICU patients, improve access, and continue to distinguish Duke through quality of care and specialization. Unfortunately, I cannot yet announce that we have a new research building, but research continues to be a cornerstone of our school. It would be impossible to cover all of our remarkable research accomplishments over the past year, but I'll offer a few highlights. Duke is fortunate to be among the top few schools in the country in groundbreaking scientific discoveries, national and international awards, and sponsored research funding. These are just a handful of the high-impact papers published by Duke faculty members and trainees over the past year. When you walked in this afternoon, I hope you had a chance to view the slides that were looping on the screen. In addition to recognizing valued colleagues who have passed away, the slides also listed members of our faculty whose accomplishments were recognized with important awards and honors during the past year. There are far too many to name them all, and I'm sure we left some out, but I want to congratulate all who have been honored. In addition, I want to take a moment to highlight several exceptional awards. Blake Wilson received the Lasker DeBakey Clinical Medical Research Award for his pioneering work on cochlear implants. Kim Blackwell was named one of Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People for her work developing and improving treatments for breast cancer. Fan Wang received one of only 12 NIH Pioneer Awards, which support highly innovative approaches to contemporary challenges in biomedical research. Sally Permar was awarded a Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers. Sally Kornbluth was elected to the Institute of Medicine for her work on cell signaling and cell death, and Hunt Willard was elected to the National Academy of Sciences for his contributions to understanding X chromosome inactivation and gene silencing. We have also had an exceptional run in garnering NIH grants, holding on to our share of federal funding even as the NIH budget gets worse. The data shown on this slide is a little bit behind because it takes time to fully capture our NIH portfolio, but I think the message is clear. We were worried several years ago when our NIH success rate, shown in blue, dipped below the national average, shown in gray. That may have been a consequence of our enormous success in receiving NIH stimulus funding, but we don't know. Regardless, through your hard work, and I would like to think as a result of a number of supporting services that we've put in place, our success rate is now almost 10 percentage points above the national average. I would very much like to see those gray bars get bigger, but at a minimum, I hope that we can keep the blue bars above them. Many of you have taken advantage of the suite of tools and resources developed by the school to support your efforts in carrying out research and procuring funding. There isn't time for me to mention all of them now. I've mentioned some in earlier years, but I urge you to visit the school's website to learn more about our core facilities and to explore the mentorship and grant writing opportunities offered through Ann Brown's office, as well as the initiatives and opportunities listed here, which I'll mention in the next few slides. In 2007, the school developed the Bridge Funding Program. The rationale was that it didn't make sense to downsize a productive research effort just before reapplying for a grant that almost got funded. Over time, we have liberalized the eligibility criteria for the Bridge Funding Program to provide more support. To date, 115 Bridge Funding Awards have been given, including our most recent awards this month. The school has invested almost $8 million since the program's inception, approximately $8 million since the program's inception, and to date has received $68.5 million in direct grant dollars. In addition to the scientific output Bridge Funding has made possible, this is an 8.5-fold return on our investment. Many faculty members across the school have benefited from the program. Chris Counter, shown here, received bridge funding that led to several NIH research grants. All in all, we think this is really a great investment. I mentioned Duke's Office of Clinical Research earlier for its role in the implementation of MaestroCare's clinical research component. Since it was created in 2012, DOCR has greatly enhanced services and support for investigators. In addition to the ongoing adaptation of MaestroCare for research, the office facilitates IRB review and institutional sign-off, streamlines contract and budget negotiations, and provides clinical research support on an as-needed basis. Last year, DOCR worked with the GME office to develop a residency education certificate program. This new program provides residents with a standard, centralized curriculum, including basic research principles and skills valuable for those planning clinical research careers. One of the most exciting highlights of the past year was the much anticipated renewal of our CTSA grant. I want to congratulate and thank the many individuals who worked tirelessly to pull this off. In particular, congratulations to the 4 co-principal investigators, Rob Califf, Jennifer Lee, Monica Kraft, and Jim McNamara, and to Ian Sanderson for all of their leadership and efforts. Already, we've seen the impact of this $47 million award. Since October, KL2 and TL1 programs have been launched, and 3 scholars and 3 trainees have been appointed. A total of more than $500,000 in supplemental pilot funding has been provided to 14 investigators, and currently 44 letters of intent for additional funding are being reviewed. A total of $1 million annually will be awarded through the pilot program. The CTSA has also provided continuing support for biostatistics, biobanking, and regulatory cores, and contributed to the creation of the new Division of Translational Bioinformatics in the Department of Biostatistics and Bioinformatics. The Office of Research Development, led by Joanna Downer, provides services to individual investigators and teams to ensure submission of high-quality grant applications. To date, funding for grants prepared by the ORD totals $104 million, with much more pending. Joanna, Jenny, and their team of scientific writers have become very popular, helping investigators from across the school, but I'll mention just one example. They recently assisted Vandana Shashi and David Goldstein and their colleagues on a UO1 application to become one of a small number of undiagnosed diseases network sites. The grant received such an outstanding score that we expect it to be fully funded. While the NIH and its funding is crucial for our work and our reputation, we continue to aggressively pursue other support for research. Industry partnerships are an important source of funding for our faculty. Last year, the Office of Corporate Research Collaborations processed approximately 850 funding agreements with companies, and our industry-sponsored expenditures in 2013 totaled $168 million. Just a few examples of these partnerships are shown here, including a collaborative program on diabetes involving Chris Newgard and the Duke Molecular Physiology Institute, a phase 1-2 trial of a drug for recurrent malignant glioma run by Annick Desjardins, and the Duke OCT Reading Center led by Glenn Jaffe. Philanthropy is another critically important source of funding for research, education, and infrastructure initiatives. As of January 30th, the School of Medicine's development efforts, led by Ellen Medeiros and Sarah Nicholson, have resulted in $650 million toward a campaign goal of $970 million. Of the $650 million raised, 387 was philanthropy and 263 was foundation and charitable sponsorship of research. To date, $733 million has been raised for all of Duke Medicine towards a total campaign goal of $1.2 billion. Transformational gifts over the past year include a $20 million commitment from Dr. Steve Scott and his wife Rebecca to expand Duke's sports medicine clinical and research programs, and a $15 million anonymous gift that provided $10 million to the new Department of Neurology and $5 million for scholarships for the Duke Physician Assistant Program. There are many other wonderful gifts received during the past year directed towards scholarships, research, and facilities, including our first all-inclusive merit scholarship given by Dudley Rauch, and the first Rauch Scholar is Colin Kent, a Duke graduate currently in his first year of medical school. A gift from the Trice family supports the Trice Holland Scholars Awards for basic neuroscience research. A $2.5 million pledge from Joan Tisch and her family supports brain tumor research. $4 million from LC Industries and Bill Hudson will support construction of the new Duke Eye Center. A $1 million estate gift from Fred Sanfilippo, an alumnus, will support scholarships for the MD-PhD program, and a very welcome $1 million gift from alumnus John Poindexter provides unrestricted School of Medicine support. This has also been a banner year for new education initiatives developed to address the challenges that we see on the horizon and to better serve our students and faculty. In May, a new student-oriented interprofessional clinic will provide an opportunity for learners from our various health professions programs to work together to care for patients referred from the Duke Hospital emergency room. Working through the logistics has been a major undertaking led by Vice Deans Ed Buckley and Ted Pappas. A few months back, we received formal approval from the university for a new biostatistics PhD program led by Greg Samsa. Fang Yin in radiation oncology has overseen the development of a medical physics master's degree program for Duke Kunshan University, expanding on a highly successful program on our campus. The Master of Management in Clinical Informatics program, formerly cited in the Fuqua School, is moving over to the School of Medicine to be housed in the Department of Biostatistics and Bioinformatics. And a new Masters of Medical Science program led by Kathy Andolsik and Linda Lee will launch in 2015. Initially, this new program will prepare post-baccalaureate students to apply to medical school, but over time, we anticipate that it will branch out to serve individuals interested in other careers that require a basic knowledge of biomedical science. Finally, the Duke Academy for Health Professions Education and Academic Development, or Duke AHEAD, is a new collaboration between the schools of medicine and nursing to support faculty educators and enhance teaching. Diana McNeil is the inaugural director of the Academy, and I invite all of you to attend the kickoff reception on March 20th, right here in the Trent Seaman Center. Our PA and DPT programs continue to be highly recognized. Our PA program is #1 in the country, with applications up 13% from last year. The program has 26 underserved community scholars enrolled or graduated who spend a longitudinal clinical year in underserved areas of North Carolina. This year, our DPT program received 10-year reaccreditation from the Commission on Accreditation in Physical Therapy Education, achieving the highest educational standard. This program also held its first ever Global Health Summer Institute in Bergen, Norway. The Summer Institute will be here at Duke in June of this year with PT students from Norway, Canada, and Ireland. Duke NUS is continuing down its path to an integrated partnership with Sing Health. Becoming an academic medical center de novo, they have taken the route of establishing 9 academic clinical programs rather than departments, and they have organized medical education and medical research into 2 parallel institutes. All of these activities and many others remind us of the remarkable accomplishments of our faculty, staff, and trainees. They are evidence that during times of change and evolution, our community rises above the challenges and strives even harder for success and progress.